Good evening, everybody, from a very wet Southern California. It has been raining most of the afternoon. The track has got a pretty fair soaking, and talk about driver skills. The test on this track tonight. Along with my partner, Mike Galloway. Ken Bruce speaking to you. And, Mike, I guess you can never truly predict the weather, can you?
Well, not even in Southern California. Most of the day was beautiful, Ken. The track was great. Had a lot of good lines in it. Everything was wonderful. And then about the middle of the afternoon, the skies opened up, and only moments ago has it quit raining.
Inside the Nature Recipe car of Jimmie Johnson, the 92 champ. We're all set for super lights, Mike. Tell me about this classification. What makes it so special?
I love this class. This is as exciting a class as you're ever going to see. Car sitting on the inside pole position. Tim Baker, brand new car. This is the first time they've raced this car. It's called a Briggs built, a Mirage, excuse me. That's a Briggs behind it, but it's Mirage.
Two interesting things about the Superlights this year. 11 of the 24 drivers we're going to see this season are contract drivers. In other words, they fly in and they race this equipment that other people own. And also team sponsorships, very big on the Superlight. You know, we had Nature's Recipe, there's Team Mirage. It's going really high-tech, high advertising.
Kind of like the IndyCar circuit,
yes,
you know. That brings some comparison to mind.
And we are all set to go here on heat race number 1 of the Superlights. And just as soon as we get the track okay, we're going to be good to go. There is our starter, Gary Scheimer. And as soon as he drops the green flag, we're off to 7 laps of Superlight racing.
Oh, look at Mercedes Gonzales. Did she pull the doors off of them? Mercedes just really runs off at highs. I believe that's Jimmie Johnson that took the left-hand part of the track, though. Who's going to come out when they get to that all-important number 5, though, Ken?
Right here, it's Mercedes that takes it as Johnson does a 360 back before turn number 5.
Look at Mercedes. She's on her way. This could be good for Mercedes. But there's Greg George coming up behind her in the number 3 vehicle. Greg George, great driver, finished 3rd. You know, the 3 didn't says what he finished last year, and he finished 3rd. A Mirage sets in 2nd. Greg George moving to the inside. That's a great shot. This track is really coming around, and it's going to be great before the night's over. A booger bear, as you'd call it. Look at the race for number 2 position.
Right, in 2nd place right now, it's Tim Baker battling Greg George, but it's Mercedes Gonzales who has the lead. And we've got a problem back at number 2.
Look at this. Look at this. They're hooked up. Greg George is really trying to get around. This is terrible. Now they're getting all kinds of it. Greg George is shoved completely off the course. There's Jimmie Johnson. He's in this thing too. But right now, the Mercedes Gonzales out in front and going on. Watch that young lady. She's sitting. There's Jimmie's car. Jimmie's back. He's got to barrel his way to the front. He had some problems, had a spin, and now he's got to fight his way back up front.
Mercedes Gonzales has stalled coming through turn number 5. Now she almost gets T-boned before she turns around and gets off.
She's headed in the right direction now. At least that's one thing for her. But the leader you see on the left-hand side of your screen, he has really, that's Sean Finley, and Sean Finley has, you know, stretching it out. That's all you can say.
Finley in the Triple E, assuming the position of number 1 after Mercedes Gonzales encounters trouble through turn number 5.
Well, Mercedes had built a good lead. Let's see if she's got enough time to come back and catch Finley before this race is over with. John Finley started off of the back row, Ken, so that tells you that this track is coming around in a hurry. Finley looks like he slowed down a little bit there, that set of jumps. He can't do that with Mercedes coming up behind him.
Meanwhile, up front, Sean Finley sees the white flag as 1 lap remains in the race.
I don't think we're going to see Mercedes pull this one out tonight because she's way too far in the back. But Ken, it was her race to lose, and she lost it.
She lost it. And it'd be interesting to see what the problem was when this race is over. Meanwhile, Sean Finley takes the right-hand lane, and through turn numbers 2 and 3, back down to turn number 5, apparently in command. He comes through the rhythm section with the right-hand turn, and now will come up to the top of the track at turn number 7 and try to bring it on home here in heat race number 1 of the Superlights. And it appears that Sean Finley, taking advantage of others' misfortune, takes the checkered flag. glad you're watching right here on ESPN, but if you live in and around any of these cities, you're in luck because the greatest stadium off-road racing in the world is coming to these locations. Mickey Thompson Off-Road Racing, Saturday, February 20th at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Then 1 month later in March at the Kingdome in Seattle. We'll be in Phoenix and the Sun Devil Stadium on Saturday, May the 1st. And on Saturday, May 22nd, Mickey Thompson's Off-Road Racing comes to the LA Coliseum. Do yourself a big favor. Take the family. Buy some tickets. Here's a man that needs to get out of the pouring rain. Ralph Shaheen, what's going on down there?
Well, Ken, as you can see, it is absolutely pouring down here, and that has become a big problem for the competitors, not only on the racetrack but off. Take a look behind me here at the Mirage Team pits. As you can see, their pit area is completely flooding, and that makes working on the cars very difficult. These guys are not the only ones suffering this problem. It is rampant throughout the pit lane, and it makes getting the machines prepared for the next heat and the upcoming main events very, very difficult.
The Superlight Championship tonight goes to Greg George. And hello again, everybody, from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California, where the rain continues to fall here. I don't know who wrote that song, It Never Rains in Southern California, but it must have been written sometime in September or October, because it's been raining nonstop, it seems like, since January.
Well, unfortunately for the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, this is the second event in a row, and only the second time in about 8 years that they've had rain. And the track is literally a quagmire. In one 24-hour period, 2 inches of rain fell in the San Diego area. Look at Jack Murphy Stadium layout here in San Diego for our race tonight. An interesting layout, to say the least. So as you come off the starting line, a quick left-hander that takes you down into your major decision for every lap, whether you take the A lane or the B lane. Now, the A lane has 3 180-degree turns. It's shorter, but those turns are going to slow you down. The B side, quicker exit points as you don't turn as often, but you've got a longer distance to travel. You rejoin at turn 5, actually heading towards each other, and then into the rhythm section. Down to turn 6, 180-degree right-hander, to a left-hand 180-degree at turn 7, up over the longest straightaway on the race course, down into a hard left-hander into turn 8 that sends you to the finish line, and 1 lap here at Jack Murphy Stadium.
Well, even in off-road racing, there's such things as pinch hitters, and there's one tonight. Jeff Ward has stepped in just for the evening, and he's standing by right now with our Ralph Shaheen.
Jeff Ward has won more motocross and supercross titles than his competitors care to remember, including at least 1 crown of every indoor and outdoor AMA national division. Jeff has traded in his motorcycle boots for a Nomex driving suit as he prepares for a new career in the Indy Lights Series. If you're wondering why Wardy is testing the competition in the Mickey Thompson Series, the answer is experience.
I think driving's driving and racing's racing. I think if you can excel in one end of racing, you're going to be able to excel in another end. It's just a matter of seat time in that vehicle you're going to run, and I think this will help me out in passing and racing strategy. And you know, I jumped into Indy Lights, which was the big jump for somebody that's never raced a 4-wheel car before or anything. But I'm a quick learner, and I think with my motocross background, I know what it takes to be a champion, and I'm willing to put that effort in to do that in that area.
You can never count a champion like Jeff Ward out. They know how to win.
I have the attitude of racing to win, and I think I can read tracks, and of course tonight it's a muddy race, and I know what it takes to get around people and different things that come up I can deal with, and I think, you know, the other drivers know my capabilities on a motorcycle, and I think my talents are going to come over into the 4 wheels as well, as I think we'll just have to wait and see, though.
You are looking at a man who would love to win the Superlight main event, Jimmie Johnson, in his brig built out of El Cajon, California, and there is the inboard camera of Jimmie Johnson. Part of that Nature's Recipe team and part of the main event tonight in this, the Superlight main event. Johnson will start up front. That may help him. He's right next to Sean Finley.
Yeah, and Greg George and Scott Clares in row number 2. So, you know, if the heat races are any indication, the winner should come from that first 2 rows.
We'll see. They're off on an 8-lap main event. And it's a fair split, about 50-50, lane A and lane B. Those who who have chosen the top lane, some of which are in the like in the Grand National Sport Truck, they found great success. Ivan Stewart did. Here, not much of a factor, at least through the first time in lap number 1. Sean Finley nursing a very, very slight lead. You can see Finley in the maroon and white and flying the number 18 flag. Sean Finley, current points leader, 49 points. He's coming into tonight. He was number 1 in the heat, number 2 in the main at Anaheim.
Well,
Finley with the slight lead now.
The thing that's interesting about Sean is that he took a year off last season, came back to Triple E Racing with Mike Lavelle and his team, along with Frank Chavez, and boy, it's like he's never missed a beat.
Finley with Jimmie Johnson right on, and there's the inside of Johnson's ride, and he is just a hair behind Finley, and currently running third is Greg George. So it's Finley and Johnson and George, 1, 2, and 3, as you see them lined up there. 2 laps in the bag of this 8-lap main. George trying to make a run at Johnson for second place, and they're about as close as you can get. George elects for the A lane. The other 2 go up in the B lane. We'll see what happens when they hit the top of turn number 5.
Just to bring our fans up to date who are supporters of Jeff Ward, he's making his appearance here tonight, substituting for Mercedes Gonzales, and the former Supercrosser is currently running 7th.
The lead does not change. It is that man, Sean Finley, Jimmie Johnson on him, and George currently running 3rd. And again, we'll see what the election is.
Now remember, the one advantage that Sean has is the fact that this is still basically a 1-lane racetrack, but here comes the pass for the lead.
Right, Johnson is trying to make the move inside, and Finley won't have any of it. And you're right about the tire, Marty. It's the right rear tire that is going down on Sean Finley.
Yeah, it's a slow.
Johnson now makes the move and gets run up as he and Finley come up top high. And they're both stalled. Unbelievable. The benefactor on all this appears to be George, who has taken the lead. Players will try to make a move, I'm sure, in this final lap. But George with the lead as the white flag comes out.
I'll tell you what, don't ask me to figure this out, but the Super Lights tonight have given us some of our greatest racing in all the heat races, and that's definitely here in the main.
It has been a good night for the Super Lights. Scott Clares, Jeff George. George slightly with the lead. Clares looking to make a move.
George went to the A lane, Clares went to the B lane, and here they come.
At the top of it, and it is George, but barely, as he bumps with Clares. And Clares rear-ends George. This the final lap. George with the lead as he negotiates to the top of turn number 7, around the stalled traffic. Clares tries outside. George tries to cut him off and will take the checkered flag. Greg George the winner. Clares finishes 2nd. And in 3rd place is Frank Chavez. But it will be Greg George who goes to the victory circle with the win tonight in the Superlight main event.
When the sun is out, it is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The sun's out today. It's located next to the Puget Sound and right in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, Washington is also the site of stop number 3 on the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Chamberlain. Say hi to my partner, Ralph Shaheen. We're glad you could be with us on ESPN. Ralph, a couple of developing stories here. This is really the first time that these racers and drivers will get the chance to really put the pedal to the metal and see what their machines are made of, because in Anaheim and San Diego, sloppy, wet, muddy courses, they couldn't let it go. But tonight, we're indoors, everything goes. Well, you know, it's more than racing here tonight. It is kind of a family affair. And on that note, we'll check in for the first time with our pit reporter, Mike Galloway.
Mickey Thompson Off-Road Stadium Racing is truly a family sport. And there's no bigger family than the Mears gang. Roger, is it a family reunion every time you go off-road racing?
Well, just about. I mean, you know, we've done this so long, and all of us, our whole family, have raced for so long and together that it just feels like a regular deal. I mean, we spend a lot of time together at home, but when it comes time to go racing, that's when we really get together.
Junior, what's it like every time you go out on the racetrack, there's Dad right beside you? Is that a hindrance or a help?
Oh, it's great. We have a whole lot of fun with it. Get out there, bump a few doors. We have great stories when we come home and talk about them. We just have a lot of fun with it. I think it helps more than anything. The way it may hurt it all is we give maybe each other that extra little inch, but that we don't give the other competitors. But other than that, an inch isn't much.
You're kind of in the same boat juniors in, is because every time you go on a racetrack, you got kin folks right beside you. Is that a help or a hindrance?
It's sometimes it could be a help and sometimes be a hindrance. It's like you said, I mean, you'd like to give each other that little inch, but then again, it's the race, and you'd like to be out there in front, right out there in front of them. But it's good, and it gets your blood pumping a little bit better.
So, CJ, would it be better if you didn't race with family than racing with family?
Oh no, I love racing with my family. In fact, I mean, I like racing with my family because it makes you want to go harder. Because when you come home, you don't want to go, oh no, Clint beat me or something like that. You know, you want to be right up on them, right with them.
So, Mike, with all the action going on here tonight, it's going to be interesting to watch the Mears family.
Home plate. At turn 1, the competitors have to choose between the A or B lanes. The longer B lane has more jumps but higher speeds. Although shorter, the A lane, with its very tight corners, will slow the racers down. Face-to-face at turn 3, through the rhythm section to turn 4. A few more bumps and one big jump complete a lap at Seattle.
If you would, make a note of our next telecast of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series, Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. That's on Tuesday, May 25th. And would you please check your local listings to join us here on ESPN. If you watch our racing series on a regular basis, you will know that Nature's Recipe is one of the major sponsors in the Superlight class. Well, there's a story behind the story of this very colorful division, and Mike Galloway has more.
Well, everyone knows that Nature Recipe Pet Foods is one of the biggest sponsors on the circuit. 5 vehicles. But not everyone knows that the colors on those 5 vehicles represents 5 different products. So to find out what those products are, we came to the master, Reniey Awana. Reniey, let's just start with number 1 and go all the way through.
Okay, this number 1 is the venison. This orange paint is the senior pension plan, is for the older dogs. The blue car is the 3 to 6 year old dogs. The green is for the cats. And our new product line is chicken and barley.
Well, that just goes to show you, in racing, everything's got a meaning, including the paint.
These are sassy little machines online right now. Super tuned 360cc 2-stroke motors. We call them the Stadium Superlights. And we got some hard hitters here. Jimmie Johnson, a young man, 17 years of age, that's got to have the smile the size of Texas on his face. He is the reigning champion, the youngest to ever win it last year at 17 years of age. And we're off and at it.
Jimmie currently sits 10th in the points in this division and would like to move himself further up. You can see he chose that outside lane as he's sporting new colors in that Nature's Recipe team, running the magenta color scheme here tonight, and he's going to slip back behind Sean Finley and hold. Oh, and Jimmie Johnson, look at that!
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! He does a complete flip, lands on 4, and continues on in second place. Ralph, I've seen it all, brother.
That is it. That is absolutely one of the greatest things we've ever seen happen in this series.
Oh, my goodness sakes. But there's your leader. That is Sean Finley out of Lake Elsinore, California. Oh, I can't get over that. I simply can't get over it.
We saw Rob McCachran once roll over and keep going, but I've never seen anybody go end over end and keep going. Unbelievable.
And maintain second place, although be it, Sean Finley has a very healthy lead right now over Jimmie Johnson. And there's your race for second and third place. That magenta color is Jimmie Johnson, the guy that did, it was almost like it was rehearsed. Oh, no! He spins out in the corner.
But he's going to get him back, Mike.
Unbelievable.
That's Joe Price on number 5, who's now up into second place. But boy, is Jimmie Johnson putting on an exhibition.
Let me tell you about number 5. What a great story he is. Joe Price. In 1981, a motorcycle accident left his legs paralyzed. He is paralyzed from the waist down and races by the use of hand controls, accelerates and brakes with the use of hand controls. And he's in that number 5 car, Joe Price. And he is no youngster, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Jimmie Johnson is just doing a tremendous job for such a youngster. He's taking all the excitement of poor Sean Finley, who's running up front all by himself. There you see Sean right there having a smooth ride up front as he works his way past some of the slower traffic. And then it's a look back as we see the number 98. That's one of the slower cars that Finley just went around to try and catch up with Finley going down through the inside A lane. And he's just having a nice smooth run up front.
Well, I'll tell you what, he can almost coast home from now. There is your race for second and third place. Joe Price and Jimmie Johnson. And this may be the race on the course because right now Finley is simply running away with it. And there's your good race for second place.
Boy, Jimmie Johnson has got things flying all over that race car. You can see parts flapping in the air. He's got tires going in every direction, but straight, he's really giving that car a run. And the Nature's Recipe guys, that poor car's probably going to be happy when this one's over.
But you've got to tip your hat to Joe Price, a paraplegic, paralyzed from the waist down. All of the controls are with his hands, and that's inside again with Jimmie Johnson. He is running in third place, trying to chase down that number 5 Superlight. White flag comes out for Finley. We have 1 lap remaining.
Sean Finley actually sat out 1992 and is getting... Oh, and there's Jimmie Johnson making the challenge for the lead, Mike. Oh, and Price tries to dive back.
He gets it back
on him.
Oh, this is phenomenal racing by the 47-year-old out of Covina, California, Joe Price. Maybe one of the biggest races. I believe he has won in the past, but the way he is winning this race, holding off the reigning champion. Let's say hello to the winner right there. That is Sean Finley. But let's bring these guys home. Joe Price and Jimmie Johnson. Bring them on home, Ralph.
Here they come up that last corner. Johnson's got a good run, and I don't think he got it. Price got him by just a nose. So Joe Price takes second. Jimmie Johnson's got to settle for third. But boy, did he make some fans here tonight.
Great stories unfolding everywhere tonight in Seattle.
Well, here's how you get on ESPN's Plays of the Week. Take a look at number 1, Jimmie Johnson. Up. Nose down. And over.
Just like it went to rehearsal.
That was absolutely beautiful. We'll show you highlighted coverage of our Superlight main event. And the top prospect on the head of the list of every one of the Grand National Truck team owners is this kid right here, Jimmie Johnson. And boy, did he put on a clinic. He just walked away with this one. Craig George held on for second, and Sean Finley was third. And we'll go down and talk to Jimmie Johnson. Well, Jimmy, tell me, how goofy were you after you did that tip over and you kept going?
Yeah, on the heat racer, I went for a good spill, and it left me a little dingy up until I got in the car, and things started coming back to me.
Well, it looks like they came back to you in fine fashion. A fantastic win for you here tonight.
Thanks. It's hard to go wrong with Nature's Recipe backing us 200%. The BF Goodrich tires hooked up the whole way. I mean, just all the sponsors that helped us. I thank you guys a bunch. Here it is.
We're certainly glad you're watching the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series tonight on ESPN. But listen, we may be coming to a town near you. Saturday, May 1st, Sun Devil Stadium, Tempe, Arizona. We head to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on Saturday, May 8th, and on Saturday, June 26th. Look for us at Rice Stadium at Salt Lake City, Utah.
We are out in the desert tonight in the greater Phoenix area, and that includes Tempe, Arizona, the home of Arizona State University. It is hot, it is dry, and that ought to make for a fast track here at Sun Devil Stadium tonight. And hello again, everybody, along with Marty Reed, Ken Bruce speaking to you. And Marty, here we are at the 4th event this year on the Mickey Thompson circuit.
Coming off the starting line, you'll notice we take a hard left 90-degree turn into the A and B lane choice. B lane has been quicker through practice and qualifying. It's a longer version as far as the outside goes, but seems to be quicker because as you go through the A lane, you've got a 180-degree end down at turn 3A, and that seems to be hanging some people up. You empty back in at turn 4A and B, and that puts you right into the rhythm section. And look out for that second jump on the back end of that because it has been high centering several vehicles through practice and qualifying. Turn 5 is a big 180-degree sweeper to the left, which brings you back over the finish line jump. And that's one tour here in Tempe, Arizona at Sun Devil Stadium.
You want to mark these dates down on your calendars. Saturday, September the 26th, Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing is coming to Rice Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. And then toward the end of the summer on Saturday, September the 11th, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Silver Bowl. And on Saturday, October the 9th, it's Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Do yourself and your family a favor and get some tickets to the greatest racing in the world. There is Jimmie Johnson, poised and ready, side by side with Shannon Millen. Two completely different stories, Marty, in the heat races that lead to this super light main event tonight.
Well, they both finished second, but with the inverted starting positions, they'll get the front row. 17-year-old Jimmie Johnson against 23-year-old Shannon Millen. Shannon made a decision mistake taking the B lane when the A lane was much quicker. It cost her a victory in her heat race. Jimmie Johnson just was not able to get around Scott Clark. Clark's in row number 2.
Well, Clark and Johnson go high. Coming low is Shannon Millen. I don't think she'll be going high tonight. We'll see.
Well, she's in the A lane. It was the quickest during practice, qualifying, and in the heat races. We're going to find out right here, and it looks like it's the quickest again.
Sure is. Shannon Millen takes the lead as they come down the rhythm section for the first time. Jimmie Johnson to the outside, trying to make a move on Millen, even as we have only one lap in the bank tonight. The leader out front is Shannon Millen. Jimmie Johnson right on her, and not too far behind is Joe Price.
Oh, and Jimmie gets a little sideways, opens the door for Price. Price gets passed by the number 3 of Greg George.
So now it's Shannon Millen, Greg George, Joe Price, despite the little clip there, remains in third place.
Now, you remember that Millen, Jimmie Johnson, and Greg George are all on the Nature's Recipe team, and Greg George gets spun around. You saw him in the back portion of your screen. He loses several positions.
But good driving to turn out of it and not miss too much of a beat. Meanwhile, up in front at the top of turn number 2, it is Shannon Millen with Jimmie Johnson right on her. Here is the inside camera of Jimmie Johnson.
There you see Shannon right in front of him. Oh, Shannon gets wide now. Can he make the pass? No, because it'll be a left-hander. Oh, and Shannon really, dangerously close to stalling it out there.
See who can navigate the best around the folks that are lagging in the rear, but coming into play to the leaders. They're the stalled out super light. It's the number 77 of J.C. Dean.
All right, here's what happened. The lap traffic took the A lane, and so did Shannon Millen. Jimmie Johnson took the B lane, and Shannon has got to get around these lap vehicles quickly because it looks like, I think, Jimmie Johnson may have made the right decision here.
Well, it might have been that Shannon wanted no part of that upper lane, considering what happened to her in the heat. It works for Johnson, who takes the lead now.
Look at the difference, what lap traffic made there. The A lane was quicker until the lap traffic came into play. A real smart move by Jimmie Johnson.
Now 1 lap to go. It is Johnson way in front of Sean Finley now. Finley in second, and Millen, as Marty mentioned, well back in the pack. It looks like Reniey Awana has come up now to take third place.
4th place is Greg George. 5th is Shannon Millen. Right now, it is Jimmie Johnson's race to win or lose. What a great decision that turned out to be with that lap traffic taking the slower B lane, but it turned out to be the right choice.
Through turn 5, the checker flag is out. It is in the face of Jimmie Johnson, who wins the main event here tonight. Sean Finley will finish second, and Reniey Awana will finish third. Jimmie Johnson, number 1 in the point standings, winning for the 2nd time in a row. He won at Seattle. He wins tonight in Tempe, Arizona.
And age 17, and you showed 71 years of experience making that B lane choice, because it was death to everybody else, but that one time with all that lap traffic, it really paid off for you.
Yeah, it paid off real well. Shannon looked like she was going to get tangled up with some lappers in there, and I kept my momentum up and went out wide, and yeah, right there, the guy got in her way, and the Goodrich tires hooked up the whole way, no loose spins or anything, and here we are once again in victory circle.
All right, I've got to ask you, I know you can't probably tell me too much, but we're hearing the rumbles that you're still in line for that 2nd seat with the Chevy Thunder, the Nelson & Nelson Racing team. What can you tell us? Where does it stand?
They're going to build a 2nd truck?
Mr. Diplomatic here, folks.
Well, things are looking bright, that's all I can say, and hopefully we'll see you guys here soon in the Grand National.
All righty, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
It has been a gorgeous afternoon here in Southern California. Temperatures in the 80s. In fact, you couldn't ask for better weather for racing. and it ought to be a heck of a night here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California tonight. Hello again, everybody, along with Marty Reed, Ken Bruce speaking to you. And Marty, here we are, the 5th event of the Mickey Thompson season in 1993.
Around the layout here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the starting line will be on the backstretch, and turn 1's a left-hander, 90 degrees. Actually a big sweeper, which connects to turn 2. That brings you through what will end up being the finish line, a double jump, down into turn 3. That's a 180-degree left-hander. Through a series of rhythm jumps, you get out of sync, you're in some big trouble. To turn number 4, that's 180 degrees to the right. Again, another series of rhythm jumps, and then back to one more left-hander. Turn 5, 180 degrees to the left. That takes you back to the backstretch one more time through one big jump, and this is a fast, fast course. Lap times under 29 seconds.
All right, heat race number 1, all set to go in the super lights. And we're going to go inside the car of Jimmie Johnson during this heat race to see what it's like. There's outside that Nature Recipes number 1. Inside is Jimmie Johnson and our camera. Jimmie looks good to go. And we're off. The lead in number 51 from Rialto, California. Scott Clars takes the lead. But it's early and they're bunched up. Watch out for number 18, Sean Finley from Lake Elsner in his Triple E. He can drive too. Finley currently second. Frank Chavez out of Escondido, California is third. In car with Jimmie Johnson. Banging and grinding and keeping it steady. Steady as it can go. He's a good one. Clars, though, has the lead. He's in front of Johnson. There he is in the colorful number 51. Sean Finley in the number 18, currently holding second and holding Johnson off. Chavez now running third. But it's Clars who's really built himself a pretty fair lead. We'll call it about 10 car lengths, 10 super light lengths. But it's early in this heat race.
And that's no fluke for Clars. He finished second at the main event in San Diego.
Right on him, though, is our new number 2, Jimmie Johnson. There's a race for third. Frank Chavez in the number 15. Here, though, comes Chavez. Right behind him is Joe Price. Out front, Clars. Jimmie Johnson on him. Johnson won the Phoenix main event, number 2 in that heat, and before that, won at Seattle. So Johnson has had a good run of it here lately on the Mickey Thompson circuit.
Of course, the word on Johnson is he is in line to take over the second Grand National Sport Truck seat that when Chevrolet debuts the second truck later this season. Nothing officially announced yet.
Johnson tries the inside track. Clars holds him off. Johnson will try it again at the top of turn 1. And appears to have gained the advantage by the tight turn. And now Jimmie Johnson has the lead. And it's Clars who has to look at the back of his Superlight. And Clars has spun out, hitting the barrier just at the top of turn 3. Johnson has the lead. That Nature's Recipe team. 2 laps to go. Chavez will try to make a move. But Johnson appears to be turning very tightly tonight. Marty, he seems to have it dialed in. Tires seem to be working real well for Jim.
Yeah, sometimes we don't talk enough about the tire combinations that these vehicles need, but you're absolutely right. If you get the wrong setup, it can cost you a lot. And it looks as though Frank Chavez isn't going to have enough time to catch the man up front, Jimmie Johnson.
The lead belongs to Jimmie Johnson. He'll go through the jump at the top of the course, make the turn as you watch from inside his Superlight. Look at the checker flag. It's waving, and it belongs to Jimmie Johnson in heat race number 1. Chavez will finish second, and it appears that Scott Clars, who had the lead at one time, will have to finish and settle for third. No settlement for that man. Jimmie Johnson rules the roost in heat race number 1. Greg George, another fine event for him in the Superlights.
I love mornings after my dad would race. I'd get up before anyone else, sneak out to the garage, and inspect every inch of his old Chevy. Just by looking, I could tell how well he did the night before. Yeah, I got my first taste of racing and my first taste of Sundrop right here.
Sundrop, the taste you go wild for, and a favorite in the Earnhardt garage for over 40 years.
Some things just kind of run in the family.
Sundrop Citrus Soft Drink.
And good evening again, everybody. We're nestled in between the mountaintops tonight here in Salt Lake City, along with Marty Reed. Ken Bruce speaking to you. Marty, I think this is going to be a great night of racing.
Well, we're heading into round 6, past the halfway point, and the showdown is about to begin.
Fact is sponsored by Budweiser.
One of the different things about coming to Salt Lake City is the fact that we're 4,200 feet above sea level. This forces the engine tuners to really be on their toes. One of the things they must do is increase the compression of the motor to compensate for the increased altitude. Another thing they must do is make some adjustments to the carburetor here so you have the proper fuel-air mixture. This adjustment right here is for the high speed. This is for the low speed of the engine. And inside, behind this plate right here, are little carburetor jets. Now, these little things don't look like much, but believe it or not, a difference of 1 or 2 numbers could be the difference between 20% in horsepower, something none of these drivers want to give away.
And here we go with Super Lights, heat number 2.
Guy to keep an eye on will be Greg George. There we are on board with him inside, and he's looking. Yes, Greg, it's working. Yeah. Just keep looking straight ahead, partner. He has been on a streak. He's won 3 out of 5 stops on the Mickey Thompson Tour this year, trying to regain that #1 that he held 2 years ago.
This an interesting points race. George winning big at Pasadena has really put some distance between himself and Sean Finley. Well, he could really put a lot of distance behind Finley and everybody else with a strong showing tonight. We'll see. We'll see him inside and we'll see him outside. Right now as they come through the series of jumps on the back straightaway. And it looks like, and it is Scott Klars who has shot to the lead. So here we go. Klars had some tough luck in Pasadena. He led the main but spun out. Wound up finishing in deep inside the pack, but has zoomed to the lead here in the first heat race tonight. Right behind him is Sean Finley from Lake Elsinore, California. And there is George currently riding third over the barrier. And our barrier cam catches the jump inside with Greg George. And you're feeling what he's feeling, I'm sure. And that is the unforgiving turf that he bounces off of.
And we've had our first pass. Can he make it stick? He gets on the outside. No, he gets passed back on the inside by Sean Finley. And here he comes back. It has been a night of surprises as far as this track layout. When it comes to the 4-wheel ATVs and these super lights, we haven't seen a great deal of passing. That's the first pass in the top 5 positions in either category.
Well, George has passed up Finley. Now he sets his sights on #1, but Scott Klars has put some distance between Finley and George and everyone else. We've got a full yellow. We've got a full yellow caution. And we have a super light on its side back on turn #3. So hold everything. We'll line it up for a restart. While we wait for the restart, let's go down to pit road and Bart Kendall. Bart?
We had a pretty rough heat #1 in the truck race. And one of the casualties was the Chevrolet truck of Rick Johnson. You see right here, this is the front bumper assembly. And this right over here is what used to be part of the front bumper. I'm not even sure how it goes right now. What had happened, though, is that thing was bent back into the right front wheel, restricting the movement of the right front wheel. So, in essence, Rick was driving a 3-wheel vehicle. We know he can drive 2-wheel vehicles. We know he can drive 4, but he hasn't yet figured out how to drive a 3-wheel vehicle.
Thank you, Bart. Restart has occurred. Klars regains the lead on the restart. Greg George second, Sean Finley third, so nothing has changed since before the last flip by Alan Yaros. Klars out of Rialto, California in his Briggs built. George in the Nature Recipe right behind him, and he has Sean Finley right on his rear wheels. There's our barrier cam. And you can see the air that these drivers put between themselves and the track. On board now with Greg George. Battling the turf. Look at his head just snap back and forth as he tries to navigate through the rhythm section.
Well, you can see he's got an inside line. He tried to get past Klars. Klars able to hold him off.
Klars, though, with a decidedly slimmer lead on George than what he had just 1 lap ago. But he continues to lead. And right behind him, you see the Nature's Recipe super light of Greg George. George, though, itching to make a move, and we'll see if he'll do it here on this next lap. Sean Finley currently riding third.
He's got the inside line going into turn 1.
George kicks inside, seems to take the lead momentarily, and now does. Greg George has taken the lead with authority over Scott Clars. And now it's Greg George that they're all chasing. And Clars has lost second place now to Sean Finley. So a weird turn of events on this lap for Scott Clars. He has lost first and now second. And now it is that man, Greg George, with the lead. And right on him is Sean Finley, inside the car of our new leader. And that is Greg George. 1 lap to go as the white flag is out. And George will try to equal what he did on the last lap and keep the others at bay. He wrestled the lead away from Clars on the last lap. Finley took second from Clars, and now it's George and Finley with less than a lap to go. George with a little trouble through turn number 2. Now through the rhythm section with about a 3 super light length lead over Sean Finley. Top of turn 3. It's still Greg George with the lead. George with Finley behind him and Clars third, and that's the way it'll wind up. Greg George wrestling the lead away on the next to the last lap, takes the checker flag. Here in heat race number 2, it's Sean Finley second, Scott Clars third, but Greg George is the winner after some superb driving in heat race number 2 tonight.
ATV action so far and into Superlights. You're one of the few guys that's been able to make a successful pass. This course has been really fast. It's been hard for anybody to dive underneath.
Yeah, it's a little tough to pass out here, definitely. I think what I'm seeing out here is a lot of guys are having problems with the altitude, myself included. I think the car works a little better than most people. I was able to, even though it was running not so well, I was able to stand on it through the rough stuff and get through a little quicker, and I think that helped me a little bit.
Well, take a look at the monitor. This is the sequence. If you two came together, that's Clars running right over your wheel.
Yeah, the track is a little bit narrow and it's tough to pass, so you need to expect a little banging, as long as, touching is all right, but like they say, if you touch anybody, you're losing time, so you try to stay clean.
Well, but Greg, the one thing I thought with these real long straightaways, it would give you guys plenty of time to set up a pass, but it just doesn't seem to be happening that easily.
No, it's real fast, but the faster it is, it turns into a single lane because you are going so fast. Everybody takes that one lane, and it's really hard to set up a guy when he doesn't make mistakes.
Well, we'll see you in the main event.
Okay, Marty.
Well, the crowd's enjoying the racing tonight. I'll tell you what, though, the Mears family may want to bring its own position to the next Mickey Thompson stop. Bart Kendall, what's going on down there with the Mears gang?
Well, I feel like Dr. Kendall down here making my rounds at Rice Stadium Memorial Hospital. First, an update on Roger Mears. After that first heat, he said his lower back was really hurting him. It hurt him to walk, but he actually felt better driving. I'm here with Clint Mears. You were feeling a little under the weather, too. How you feeling now?
I feel pretty good. I had a heat got to me and the altitude got to me. I have a little serious nosebleed. I never have them, but it got to me and I was a little bit queasy, but now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm ready to race.
Hopefully the Mears family has a family HMO plan.
Congratulations to our Superlights main event winner, Greg George.
Congratulations. Let's take a quick tour of the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. The one unique characteristic about this track is it is extremely tight. It's a benefit for the fan because they're right on top of the action. Coming off the starting line, turn 1 is a sweeper to the left. 180 degrees, puts you on the back stretch. And boy, you can fly down there. Then hard on the brakes for turn 2. Another 180-degree left-hander takes you over a set of 2 jumps and then into a rhythm section for turn number 3, the only right-hand turn on the course. Again, 180 degrees. Then a couple more jumps, another set of rhythms, and then down into turn 4, the final turn as you make that left-hander and head for the finish line. And that's 1 lap at the Silver Bowl.
And a reminder, Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing is coming to your town. If you live near or around or in Denver, Colorado, we're going to be at Mile High Stadium tomorrow night, Saturday night, October the 9th. And then in November, San Francisco for Candlestick Park. Let me tell you, if you're near Denver, you're near San Francisco, bring the family and have a great time at Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. Well, in the Superlights tonight, Jimmie Johnson had this race in the bag until the final lap.
This was what you call heartbreak. Jimmie Johnson doing double duty, driving in his debut Grand National Sport Truck for Team Chevrolet, the Chevy Thunder. All of a sudden, on the last lap, 1 turn away from victory, the car stops dead in the water. Sean Finley goes past. He took the checkered flag. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Denver's Mile High Stadium, where the temperature is a very brisk 36 degrees at the home of the Denver Broncos and Colorado Rockies. But tonight, it's Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies, as it's round number 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series.
Let's take a quick lap around the Mile High circuit. The first thing you'll notice about the track here at Denver is that it's all one lane. No split lanes here in the Mile High circuit. Once underway, you go through a quick washboard section and the first of 2 right-hand corners. This one just a sweeper. Over a big jump and down to turn number 2. This leads you into the fastest section of the racetrack. As you go over the 2 main jumps to the end of the main straightaway, you will approach speeds of 65 miles an hour. Through turn 3 in a rhythm section. Down to turn 4, another left-hander, and a variation of that very same rhythm section. When you come to turn 5, it is the only other right-hander. As you exit turn 5, it's over one more section of the rhythm jumps down to turn 6. The final hairpin would send you back over 2 jumps and a lap here at Mile High Stadium.
Time now for the main event in Superlights as Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies continues. All part of round number 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. And on the front row, it'll be Greg George and Shannon Millen. And then Mercedes Gonzales and Jimmie Johnson, all 4 of those vehicles, Nature's Recipe sponsored machines, and it's no wonder that this team has been dominating this class.
And you got to give the edge here to Shannon Millen. She has carried a lot of momentum into this round. A very big emotional win for her earlier tonight in the heat races. That's going to give her a little bit of extra confidence boost that might make the difference here tonight.
Green flag flies, and we are underway. Who's going to get it into turn number 2? Shannon Millen had a great start.
And I'm telling you, Marty, that adrenaline was pumping in her. She was ready to go. She was on it quick, and we got a big pileup at the end of the front straightaway. The car that started it all was Joe Price in the number 5. He stacked them all up, including Mercedes Gonzales in number 6. There's one of the Mears machines. That's the number 12, Clint.
Don't try and count them all, Ralph. You'll be here all night. Let's go the other route. That's the 3 that survived. Shannon Millen's got the lead over Greg George. Jimmie Johnson is 3rd, so it's going to be a Nature's Recipe race. These guys, boy, they don't realize the advantage they got on this start.
It is massive at this point, absolutely massive. But we've got 3 of the best Superlight competitors up front, all in team cars, so we know they're all equally prepared machines. This should come down to a test of the drivers. Now, we saw sparks out of Jimmie Johnson earlier in his heat race, and it looks like they're starting to show up again on the number 1. Oh, and Greg George loops it, spins it sideways, and that has cost him dearly.
Well, he's going to drop from a challenge for 1st into 3rd. He's going to have to play catch-up. Now the battle's between Shannon Millen and Jimmie Johnson. Johnson wears the number 1 plate because he won the championship in this series. He's driving 2 classes this weekend, the Grand National Sport Truck for Chevrolet and this vehicle, so he has lots of experience with this track.
It looks like those sparks are starting to show again out of the rear end of the number 1.
Yeah, also I saw him in Greg George's machine, so I don't know if that's a design characteristic now, because we got no reports that there was anything seriously wrong after the heat races.
No, and Greg George is smoking again like he was earlier, and he was able to bring the car home with any visible signs of a power loss. And look at him charging now, and Shannon goes wide.
Shannon Millen got her hands full with 2 former champions in this series.
She has not finished in the top 3 at any one of our races so far in 1993. This could be a huge race for Shannon Millen.
Well, let's give you an idea. The first 2 rounds were won by that man right there. You're looking over his shoulder, Greg George. Then Jimmie Johnson won the next 2 rounds, Seattle and Phoenix. Then Greg George came back to win 2 more at the Rose Bowl in Salt Lake. And then Sean Finley was the first non-Nature's Recipe team member and he won the last time out at Las Vegas. Right now, oh, Jimmie gets up on the bicycle, so that takes him out of play. So far, the only person who hasn't made a mistake or a little bobble has been Shannon Millen.
Exactly right, and that's why she has stayed out front. The question is, how tough is she mentally?
And she just got a little bit sideways there, and it may cost her because here comes Greg George. He's going to nudge her.
Oh! They got together, they touched wheels, and he went over, and Jimmie Johnson went on and into the lead.
Now Shannon's got to hurry or she's going to lose second place. That is Jimmie Johnson now with a huge lead. Shannon Millen under attack for second. The full course yellow has come out. The full course yellow has come out, so that's going to negate Jimmie Johnson's big lead and to give Shannon Millen one more chance as Greg George is on his lid back in turn number 3.
Let's show you a replay of what happened between Shannon Millen and Greg George. You see Greg's got the inside line. His right rear goes over her left front. Two open wheel cars get together. Somebody's going over. The victim this time is Greg George.
Green flag flies. Jimmie Johnson in front of Shannon Millen. The number 6 of Mercedes Gonzales is in third. A little bit of history could be made tonight if the two young ladies can maintain those positions. No female duo has finished in the top 3 in the same event ever.
Now that would be a spectacular evening, especially since both of these ladies, well, Mercedes has finished in the top 3 only once this year, and that was at Anaheim.
Well, this would be Jimmie's 3rd victory of the season on the tour, and he looks to be in total command. The question is, Shannon Millen and Mercedes Gonzales, where are the two of them going to finish? Here comes a checkered flag for Jimmie Johnson. Shannon Millen with second place. Oh, no, it's going to be Sean Finley third, edging out Mercedes Gonzales here in the Conoco Rumble in the Rockies.
That victory ties you for third on the all-time win list with 8 in Superlights. Congratulations. And look, you know, we saw a lot of sparks coming out of the back of your machine. Any idea what that was from?
Yeah, well, all our cars had a lot of sparks coming out. We ran some soft brake pads so we could stop a little better here on this track. It's real tacky, and they wear out a lot faster. In my heat race, me and Shannon Millen both lost our brakes completely.
Well, take a look at this. Is where you get the lead.
Yeah,
I'm
looking back, and I see Greg come up over a wheel, and basically I'm trying to slow down so I don't hit him, and then there was enough room for me to sneak through, and I just barely bumped Shannon.
Well, congratulations. I know you got to run. You got another main event coming up. Go get them.
Yeah, I'd like to give a big thanks to Nature's Recipe and the whole crew for putting together 100% a car for me.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ralph Shaheen, and we are down to the final round of the 1993 Stadium Off-Road Racing season.
We're ready now for heat race number 1 in Superlight competition. Ralph Shaheen, Bart Kendall, I'm Marty Reed, and the man on the front row sitting in with the Nature's Recipe team, that's Jeff Ward.
Yeah, the multi-time champion on 2 wheels, who is also running in our Grand National Sport Trucks, is going to do a little Superlight racing.
Final preparations being made. Greg George has our onboard camera for this action in heat race number 1 of Superlights. The green flag is out, and we're underway. A total of 11 vehicles in this race. And oh, contact right off the bat involving Greg George off to the right side of turn number 1. And that is going to put him well back along with the number 98 of Peter Robertson.
Yeah, Peter Robertson. They were all bunched up, Marty, as they got off the line as we're inside with Greg George. There's Peter. He's still stuck up against the hydro barrier. But they were all bunched up coming off the line and a little slipping and sliding, and somebody got out of whack. And you're looking at the number, well, that there is the battle for second and third, the 88 and the 13. The 88, of course, is Shannon Millen and John Sarna in the 13.
This is going to be interesting to watch Greg George try and work his way back to the front. So far, he has picked up 1 position. He's about to take over 2 more. There he is on the right-hand side of your screen, and now you can see how much he has to go to catch up to the front pack. Now, the leader right now is Rick Geiser in the 47, followed by the number 5 of Joe Price. Price got a little bit of smoke coming out of the back end of his machine. Oh, we have a huge crash on the front straightaway, as 3 vehicles are involved, including Greg George, who was trying to work his way up.
John Sarna in that as well in the 13. And And the other machine, Marty, I can't get a number on that at all. It looks like maybe the 88 is Shannon Millen. As they come back to green, see Shannon in the 88. She runs right up and just nips Sarna's wheel. And that's all it takes in open wheel racing.
It's amazing that the vehicle was still able to continue, but it is still out there running at the back of the pack. And we are back underway, and you can see that nothing has changed as far as the leader is concerned. It is still the 47 of Rick Geiser.
And Greg George sits in 4th place after all of that, and he's about to move up to 3rd with this inside move he's trying to make.
So George has just taken over 3rd. Here he comes right by you at that moment, and there is the checkered flag for Rick Geiser. Greg George will finish 3rd. Joe Price will finish a strong 2nd, as this was an action-packed heat race in superlight competition. Ellen still got a smile on her face despite a big spill. Bart, how's she doing?
She looks okay to me. You had quite a ride out there. What happened?
Yeah, I tried to squeeze in on the outside of the jump, and unfortunately we tangled wheels in midair, which threw me a bit off and into the barrier and into the sky. It was quite a wild ride.
What you remember of it, you'll be back for the next heat race, though, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. I finished, I think I went up 5th, so I'll be on the 5th row in the main event. So hopefully try and keep things on the ground and reach for the 1st place instead of the stars.
She sounds real sweet and nice, but she's a tough lady.
In-car cameras made possible by your friends at Chevrolet, American Racing Custom Wheels, Goodyear, and Nature's Recipe Pet Food. Bud Trackback, sponsored by Budweiser, the barrier camera compliments of Dick CPEC and Rancho Suspension. This has been a presentation of Bud Sports in association with ESPN.